So, I'm guessing many of you here are either thinking of switching careers, or maybe you're in the process of a career change. I know it might feel like you're taking a leap of faith right now. You're stepping into the unknown, and that alone takes a lot of courage and determination. So just want to give you guys a round of applause for being here, for taking that first step. A lot of you probably even feel like you're a recent graduate again. You might have zero professional experience in the target job that you're wanting. Maybe you're entering an entirely new field and competing with people who've been doing it for a long time. That sounds pretty scary. But here's the thing, the transition is much easier if you're armed with the right resume. And we're here to help guide you through that process. Because we know that the more you put yourself out there, the higher chance you have to land that dream job. Really, a lot of times it's just a numbers game. So here's what we're going to cover today. We're going to show you how picking the right resume format is going to really support your career change. We're also going to teach you how creating a resume objective can catch a recruiter's eye. We also want to show off your transferable work, the experience that you do have, and education that is relevant for your target job. But before we get started, I want to take just a few minutes to have some fun. So we've been on Zoom for the past 3 years. I know a lot of us are feeling that Zoom fatigue. So just to start off with a little icebreaker to get to know each other better, we've got a few fun questions. Be sure to pop your answers in the chat if you feel like sharing. The first one, if you could have any superpower on Earth for one day, what would it be and how would you use it? I know for me, it would be probably reading people's minds so I don't have to guess what they're thinking. Now, I don't know if, that can be used for good or evil, but I promise to only use it for good. Okay. I see answers coming in. Ash, what do we have so far?
Oh, so I think I'm not alone in wanting the ability to fly. Mine selfishly is to not be late and quickly be anywhere I wanted to be. So I see a few of those.
I love that one.
Travel in time. Yes. How cool would it be to go back in history and just see, the environment and, really, absorb that time frame.
It's awesome. I'm curious too, if anybody is currently working on any professional skills. So either maybe through one of our free training programs or maybe something that you found on your own. Would love to hear about that too. I'm currently actually taking the data analytics professional certificate that we offer through Google Coursera, and I have to say it is fantastic. Lots of video, some reading, but I'm a very visual person, so the video is really helpful for me to learn.
Yeah, I see a lot of participants are taking advantage to the free Google Coursera professional certificates. I see some UX design. I see data analytics. So way to go on making progress through those.
Awesome. Awesome. And last but not least, what's been your least favorite interview question?
Oh,
is anybody
some good ones on that?
Yeah. Ashley, I'm curious, have you ever gotten an interview question that just kind of stumped you or just came out of left field?
So I interview people for a living, so I feel, pretty confident in the interview questions I've received, but probably a question I received from a job seeker at the end of the interview, a funny one was, a candidate asked me if I was a dog or cat person. And my response was, is this a joke? And apparently it wasn't, but and don't steal that. That is not in the database of good interview questions to ask at the end of an interview as a candidate. Yeah.
What about anybody else? Anybody else have any good ones?
Yeah, what is your weakness? That has been like in the top
Mm.
10 interview questions forever. And I kind of, as a recruiter, I actually kind of enjoy asking that question because it shows that if you answer it correctly, that you are committed to always evolving and
Mm.
growing and knowing
Mhm.
that, especially in information technology, there's always more to learn. And I've had job seekers actually respond, I don't have a weakness.
Mm.
And guess what bucket they unfortunately went into?
Probably the no. And if you guys have any questions on how to answer interview questions, things of that nature, be sure to reach out to us. Would love to do a mock interview with you guys, share some insider tips. Like Ashley was saying, what do recruiters and hiring managers look for when they're asking questions like, what's your weakness? How do you answer something like that? So it doesn't have to be something that stumps you forever. We can help you work through that for sure. Okay, so jumping into the topic of our webinar today, I want to first touch base on this format of your resume. So a lot of people will use like a chronological format where they're going to show their experience. They're really leaning heavily on the experience that they've had so far in their professional career. But as a career changer, a big part of creating an effective resume is going to be choosing the right format to tell your story with. You want to keep that reader going. You want the recruiter to keep scrolling down. And so you need to structure your resume in a way that best shows your transferable skills and experience. This way, you can show that you have the right industry skills, even if you haven't like held the actual job title, or maybe you have some gaps in your employment. And when it comes to switching careers, this combination resume format is really going to be the best way to do that. So to start off, we want to always have our contact information front and center so it's easy to find. Then underneath that, you're going to want to put a resume objective or a summary. Following that is going to be projects that are going to be relevant to the position that you're applying for. Then your education and certifications, and then finally that professional experience. So pro tip, bold those keywords and skills in your work experience to draw the recruiter to your transferable set of skills. And this format is really going to work great for career changers because it places more of an emphasis on your skills and important experience, such as your projects. Maybe even some certifications that you've been working on as well, rather than trying to just rely on the work experience that you might not have right now. So we're going to get a little bit more into how you can show your relevant projects, your education, and your certifications later on. So your contact information, it's arguably the most important part of your resume, because even if you're the most qualified person in the world, it's not going to matter much if you misspell your email and the HR manager can't contact you. Trust me, I've learned from experience. So here's what you should include in this section: your first name and your last name. This might seem straightforward to most of you, but if you're somebody like me, who I go by my nickname, then you're going to want to actually put that nickname down, as long as it's not frivolous or potentially offensive. So for example, my legal name's Caitlin. I use Catie. So using your nickname can ensure that hiring managers and recruiters perceive you as you want. And be sure to use the name that is consistently used everywhere that you can be found, such as your LinkedIn, your GitHub, those types of things. Make sure that is consistent across platforms. So next is going to be your phone number. Make sure that you include your country code if you're applying from outside the country. Then your email address, something professional like your first name, period, last name @gmail.com. So SweetieBear23 Hotmail is not going to be the best option to use for your resume. We want to ensure that the recruiter or the hiring manager can easily identify who is emailing them. Next, you're going to want to put your location. So the company needs to know if you're located in the region or if you're open to relocation. There's no need to include your street address, just the city, the state, and the area that you're open to relocating. Bonus points if you include your LinkedIn profile or your GitHub as well. This is a great way to attract recruiters' attention and give them some more insight into the professional that you are. So make sure that your LinkedIn profile is up to date and that it offers something more than just regurgitated information from your resume. And once you're done, we'd recommend that you double check, even triple check everything. You wouldn't want to miss chance of landing that awesome job opportunity just because of a typo. So next, we're going to talk a little bit about doing your research to figure out what skills you need for a job. The skill summary is a must section for just about any resume that you're creating. And as a career changer, when it comes to the skill section, what most recruiters want to know is if you can actually do what the job description is asking for. You should only ever list skills that are appropriate and relevant to the job that you're applying for. For example, a data analyst is better off highlighting their experience with machine learning rather than their awesome video editing skills. Not saying that's not an awesome skill to have, but it's just not relevant to the job that they're applying for. But before we create our skill section, we need to find out what's relevant to the job that you're targeting. And we can do this by scanning the job postings that are in your area. Most job postings are going to include a list of requirements or skills that they expect a good candidate to have. Some of these will be technical skills, such as programming languages or perhaps data visualization, and some are going to be soft skills like communication or creativity. At the end of the day, technical skills are going to add more value to your resume. And if you find yourself having an imbalance of more soft skills rather than technical skills, be sure to apply to our Reskill Arkansas program, where we offer free courses so you can begin developing those technical skills you need to get that job. And I'm going to hand it off to Ashley now.
Yeah, and Catie, just to reinforce, do your research. This is such an important exercise if you are transitioning into your first IT career. Every company has their different preferences on programming languages, what data visualization tools they utilize. So it also will kind of help you stack rank, all right, who are my target employers in my area that I want to make sure I have the auto email notifications for when they have new positions come available. It also kind of gets you to better understand what different job titles companies used. So think of doing your research out on Indeed to see who's hiring, what tools are they using. That kind of gives you almost a plan of attack on companies to target and technologies to start learning. We are so lucky to live in a world to where so much self-learning is available online, whether it's YouTube or just Google or fantastic nonprofits like us that can provide resources and online training and the Google certificates. But yeah, definitely that's kind of where to start. Resume objectives. You may not think this is very important, but it is. Recruiters are looking through hundreds of resumes on a daily basis, and you want to make sure that your objective at the top is very clear on, it should be a little bit about you, what you've done, whether it's, marketing specialist looking to transition into data analyst or related field, but something that clearly showcases who you are and what you want. What's your objective? What job titles are you trying to target? Again, this will also help on a keyword optimization standpoint. Recruiters use these fancy applicant tracking tools to almost stack rank which resumes to review first. And to help your chances to get at the front of that deck, anything you can do to tailor that resume for the position is great. So kind of walking through kind of a few ideas. Acknowledge that you're making a career switch and what you're looking for. Showcase what you're doing to try to get there. Completed an IT support certificate and currently enrolled in XYZ. Point out anything that you have that's relevant, job related, that will help those chances to get your foot in the door and hopefully interview. If you have a long tenure within a certain company or an industry, I think that's a great data point. That's almost that sprinkle about you. Veteran status, that's fantastic and something employers really, are interested and impressed by. So again, it should be short, 1 to 2 sentences. Your goal is to keep the recruiter reading. Throughout this whole exercise, the goal is to tailor your resume and ensure the recruiter reviews the entire page. And guys, I don't know if we mentioned, feel free to add any questions as we go in the chat. We will either answer them on the fly or we'll circle back to them at the end. Skill summary. All right, I know I may have said the objective is kind of my favorite, but really probably a bulleted, easy to read skill summary is by far my biggest tip and really the first thing I am visually drawn to when reviewing a resume. Definitely for our purposes today, the recommendation is have that at, towards the top. A lot of resume formats have it at the bottom. But again, we want to make sure that the recruiter or hiring manager keeps reading. So having that under your objective is kind of the ideal recommendation. Use bullets and columns. Columns will help you get to that kind of ideal one-pager. It's a-okay if your resume is 2 pages, but preference on that 1 page, easy to read. You could do, instead of columns, you see the second example here is just kind of separated with bullets. An ideal breakdown would be 80% hard skills. So your soft skills are hardworking or professional communication skills. I would say probably 75% of the resumes we see have everyone's hardworking, everyone's organized, everyone, is detailed oriented. So the majority of your hard skills really should be limited to softwares, database, programming languages, actual tools. You can absolutely still, include anything that you are really the SME in, almost your superpower. If you come from, a background of maybe it's procurement, you could put RFPs, requests for proposals, something that you're really, really good at and summarizes you. We have a lot of job seekers that may be kind of still in the beginner level. I haven't mastered SQL, so I don't feel comfortable putting it on there yet. However, a good strategy you could do to, again, help our keyword optimization, keep the recruiter reading, is put in parentheses that proficiency level. So you're being transparent on, hey, I haven't mastered it yet. Maybe I'm doing some self-learning still, but I have some basic foundational understanding of this technology. So novice or beginner are kind of 2 options to showcase that. Catie, did I hit anything or did I miss anything on our skill summary? All right, moving on.
We're good to go. Okay, education projects.
All right, so education and projects. Gone are the days where you have to only limit your education to a high school diploma or a college associate's degree. If you have completed a online course or professional certification of some sort, absolutely include that in education. Something that I really appreciate is, when a resume has those coursework topics, often that could be in the curriculum breakdown or outline that you have for a course. But just again, what do we want to do? We want to optimize those keywords. We want to make it job relevant. And then, that just kind of helps because a recruiter may not know what all you're learning in this intro to PC security. But having those areas or topics or focus helps showcase what you learned in that. Projects. Projects are a great way. So without a degree or work experience to, again, showcase what you can do. And in this example, looks like it's a programmer type project. So they kind of did a few bullet points on what was the project and the technologies you used. You could also add a link to, as Catie has referenced, to GitHub, or if there's any other reference link that you can add to the example of your work. Maybe it is a database you worked on that is out online, open source. I was talking to an individual yesterday that is pursuing a transition into data analytics. And she was really struggling on, okay, how do I find out a project? There's so many great data warehouses or data repositories that are out there. AWS is a great one. Even out on Google Coursera, they have some data sets that you can play around with. And the goal is really just being able to showcase what you learned in that online course. So what did you do with the raw data? How did you go through the data cleansing process? Why did you pick this project? I think my favorite projects by far are ones that are real, to where maybe you're in the restaurant industry and the owner of the company is still doing paper time cards or some very, non-automated or technical tool, and building an app or some type of tracking tool that will optimize a real problem, to give a real benefit to the employer and the company. So that's kind of an overview of education and projects. Again, the key item is utilizing the kind of bulleted, easy to read format and highlighting those technical skills. You can even bold that section as well.
So to end, we just wanted to share an example of a stellar resume. Want to give kudos to one of my coworkers, Kristen. She is the one who actually built this one for us. But as you can see, we have the sections sectioned off just like we showed you, the contact information, making sure it's right at the top center. Then we go to our resume objective. Next, the skills. Like Ashley was saying, that's going to be probably the first thing that we scan is, hey, do those skills match what the job description is saying we need for this job? Then we have our education. So this one is highlighting the Forged Institute, their boot camp, which is a fantastic boot camp. So we have that. And then we also have the University of Arkansas Global Campus, UAGC, which is another training platform that we utilize here at Reskill. So then next we have that professional experience, down at the bottom. Once again, highlighting those keywords in your professional experience that is going to show your transferable skills is really going to help us. As Ashley was saying, recruiters are going to be looking anywhere between 100, maybe even 150 resumes a day. So make it easy on us. The easier that you can make it, the more likely you are to get a call back. And if you need a template to get started, you can head on over to our website, acds.co, and under the career, I think it's career seekers, you should be able to find, it should be labeled like job search tips. You'll see our resume templates there, but we're also going to send a follow-up email to everybody who's joined us today as a thank you, and we're going to include the email templates there as well. If you'd also like an extra set of eyes on what you have so far, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. This is our job. This is what we do. This is, why we show up every day to help people like you who are in the process of doing a career switch. So just to kind of share a little bit of encouragement, Found this really amazing Chinese proverb. It just really spoke to me. The man who removes a mountain begins by carrying away small stones. This is so applicable to so many different parts of our life. Making a career switch can seem very tedious. It can seem like it's going to take a long time, but taking these baby steps, building your resume up, taking those courses, those are going to be the things that are going to build you up to this new career that you are working so hard for. And just wanted to share also some upcoming events. Please join us for our monthly office hours. It's actually going to be on my birthday and our coworker Amanda. It's going to be her 1-year anniversary at ACDS as well. So lots to celebrate that day. That's going to be through Zoom, and a registration email will be sent to everybody. And we also have Tech and Talk coming up. So if you are needing some opportunities to network, or you want to meet some other folks who are, in similar situation that you are, you guys are career changers, you're looking, to meet and network, please join us for that. It's going to be February 9th from 5 to 7 at the Innovation Hub in North Little Rock. And just want to open up the floor if anybody had any questions.
So Catie, we did have a question on weaknesses. And Matthew pointed out that a lot of people do rephrase that as, what is your area of opportunity for growth, even though it's still the weakness question.
Yeah.
Do you want to kind of talk through what is that, a few of those ideal answer components?
Yeah, so whenever we're asking, hey, what's your strength? And then, opposite, what's your weakness? When I'm asking, the answers that I like best are genuine ones, for sure. So I really don't want to hear, well, I'm just such a perfectionist that, it takes me a long time to get work done because I'm just so detail oriented. But you can turn that into, hey, there's times when sometimes my ideals and my decision making gets a little fatigued, and so it can kind of slow me down. So what I'm doing to work on it is I'm creating an action plan of the things that have to be done, and then after I've got those things done, I go back and finish whatever I can after. So we want to see what the problem or the area of opportunity is for growth, and then what you're actually doing to work on it. For people who are career changers, a very realistic weakness or an area of opportunity for growth might be your knowledge in some things. So you might have, let's just say that you have 75% of the technical skills that are on that job description, but maybe you don't know SQL, maybe you don't know R, maybe you don't know Python, maybe it's one of those things. You can talk about, hey, I don't know this programming language yet, but I'm taking a course through Reskill Arkansas and ACDS to learn. I'm taking the automation in Python so I can begin learning that programming language and building up to make sure that I have the skills needed to complete this job.
Yeah, I agree. I think being authentic and honest, and then spinning it into what you're doing to improve that. There's the book Hiring A Players, and it talks about your A players will acknowledge a million things that they can improve on. So know in that type of question to be honest and try to spin it in what you're doing to improve it.
Absolutely. Okay. And do we have any other questions in the chat? And don't be scared to take yourself off mute if you're not really a typer. If you want to take yourself off mute, that is fine too. And it could very well be that, Ashley and I just did such an amazing job that you guys have no more questions, which is completely fine as well. Just want to give the opportunity if anybody does have anything that they want to ask. If you're feeling shy though, and you don't really want to ask in front of a group of people, I do want to once again extend the invitation to please reach out to us. Like I said, I'm going to be sending a follow-up email to everybody just as a thank you for participating. So you'll have my email address if you don't already. Feel free to reach out to me. I'd be happy to set up some time so we can speak one-on-one.
So Catie, I think the only other comment that we could kind of touch on is someone's least favorite interview is tell me about a time. Those behavioral situational type of interview questions. And I'll be honest, I don't like those as well because it puts you on the spot and you have to recall, detail that may be a year ago or prior, but there's an interview method. It's called the STAR method, and it breaks down. STAR stands for, and this is really something we used to train hiring managers on in their interview process. And we even gave them an interview guide that broke down, what was the S, T, the A, the R. And so they were listening for, did the candidate or job seeker state the situation? That was your S. So you would summarize what was so it could be a time that you dealt with an upset customer. Did they state the situation? And then T are the tasks and actions. What were the tasks and actions that the individual used to hopefully resolve the problem? And then the R being the end result. Did they try to solve the problem themselves? Did they immediately go to their supervisor to solve it for them? It's an interview question that, should showcase how you solve a problem. Did you, again, kind of go to Google or try to resolve it, with an upset customer using empathy, let them vent, keep them calm, talk them through options or solutions? Or again, did you throw it at the supervisor to solve for you? And I think it's okay if, because sometimes it could be a hard issue to where, you do have to go to your superior. But did you try going through some problem solving steps first on your own?
Absolutely. And, as I mentioned earlier, if anybody wants to do a mock interview, practicing your interviewing skills, that's something that we don't ever really do it unless we need to interview. So if you need to brush up on those, once again, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Be happy to set up some time, and we can do a Zoom mock interview kind of like this, where we're pretending that we're going through the real deal.
So we did get a question. So Miracle has a question or a comment about she has an associate's degree in computer networking. It may be, a little older, and she's been in a field, a different field. And how would she utilize that in her resume, being that it was so long ago?
So I think, one, you would need to find out if what you learned is still relevant to the job positions you're applying for now. If it's been a while since you've used those skills, like I would say 10 plus years, then it'd probably be a good idea to go ahead and, take a refresher course. We have a really great IT support fundamentals course through Google Coursera. And I would suggest to go ahead and take that. Familiarize yourself with the technology that's being used now. Even 5-10 years ago, things have changed so much. That's the great thing about IT. If you're a learner, this is the field to be in. You're going to be constantly learning about new things. So that's what I would suggest. Reach out to us so we can get you into one of these courses, so we can add some more updated education certifications to your resume.
Yeah,
that's a great question to ask.
Because think about it from the employer side of the house. If you're applying for, first of all, congrats, you have a related associate's degree. That's an accomplishment.
Absolutely.
In itself. But I think employers want to see that passion, that interest, that continuous learner. And so it doesn't hurt it could be just a 30-day, online self-paced course that you can, knock out and kind of put from a, relevant, new education component. And again, like Catie said, the technologies may have changed. So it's absolutely, possible. And you can absolutely utilize our free training resources to accomplish that.
Not sure if we got, or did we get everything?
I think so.
Okay, awesome. Well then, I guess we'll go ahead and we'll wrap things up, let you guys get back to your lunch. Thank you so much for spending this time with us this afternoon. Just want to say, kind of like at the beginning, just so proud of you guys for taking the steps, into this career change. I know it can be scary. I'm young, but I've already had like 3 career changes, but each one really grew my confidence, and I hope that you guys have the same experience. We're here to support you guys, be your cheerleader, be your coach, be your mentor. So, please feel free to reach out to us at any point, so we can support you in this as well.
Absolutely. Thanks,
Okay.
Catie. Y'all have a great rest of the day.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.